Hello everyone, and thank you for joining. Today we are going to demonstrate the essential the Linux crash course, which we are going to use. The Ubuntu is one of the distribution of the Linux operating system. So Linux are being used in the billions of deployment, billions. I didn't say the million, billions of deployment. It is an open source, the operating system. When I say the open source, it means every operating system has a heart. Okay, so Linux heart is called the kernel. Kernel is free, basically. This kernel is controlled by one person. Okay, the guy, the Linus Torvalds. So he is still the thousands or millions of developer works, but under his control as of now. The guy from Finland. I'll learn more details. But the Linux kernel is taken by the thousand of like the companies, developer. It's an example. AWS has taken the Linux kernel. All the cloud computing and all these people, basically large companies, they're taking the kernel and then they actually make their own version, because kernel is basically everything else. On the top you see it's called the operating system, which is from the UI. You are interacting with your physical machine. So you are clicking something. The way computer works, it is actually going to the soft layer, which is called the kernel, and the soft layer has actually all the hardware is connected. It's all the hardware driver. Just simply know this. You don't need to learn more details. So you do something from the UI or the terminal, it hits the kernel, and the kernel actually telling the specific hardware what to do. That's it. That's how the operating system works. So there is many Linux distribution. You will hear the Red Hat, you'll hear the Ubuntu, and then so many. Okay, there is hundreds. It's called the distro, or it's called the flavor. Okay, so but everybody use the Linux kernel under the hood. Okay, mute yourself. Okay, so everyone use the Linux, the kernel to make the distribution, basically. Linux has been developed. The core purpose is to deploy the application, basically. Can be any base application, the Node.js, Java-based, Python-based, C++, any type of application. So basically, no application will work if they are not installed. No hardware will work if there is no operating system. Simple, that's it. After the operating system, you actually deploy your application, means your Microsoft Word, and the accounting software, the picture software, photo editor. So these are all the third layer. The first layer you can call your hardware. Second layer you can call the operating system, means the kernel and the behavior. And the third is actually your application. So as I mentioned, Microsoft Word, the photo editor, and the Visual Studio, VS Code, anything you use, the Google Chrome, they're all on the top of the operating system, of the kernel, basically. Okay, that's how it works. And as a user, we are just giving the input. So any of the application we are developing, and it has also the software. If you are the Python developer, on the operating system, you need to download the Python, install the Python. If you are a Java developer, on the operating system, you have to download the Java and install the Java. Then you can do remaining, like the configuration, bring the code. If you are a JavaScript developer, you have to download the Node.js on the operating system. You have to install it. Now you have to configure it. So you see this? Nothing will work until you have to install that download that software, right? The database will not work unless you download and you install on the top of the operating system. Okay, so Linux is free. Of course, it has a paid version, but it is free version. You may not understand all, but the server-based operating system is the millions of users will be hitting the server. We hitting the computer. You can call the computer, but we call the server, means that Node.js application is sitting there. That's the reason we call the server. Why? Because Node.js application get hit by the users, right? You guys are all hitting the bootcamp hub, So bootcamp sub, where it is installed on the server, means in a machine. That machine operating system is actually the Linux Ubuntu flavor, means Ubuntu distribution. So see this? So the developer uses, DevOps use it, the QA use it. Basically, everybody use the Linux operating system. Ubuntu is completely free. It has the paid version, it has a free version. The paid version means their team, means the enterprise version, all of the paid version, they actually support anything goes wrong. But nowadays, you don't need to worry because on the cloud, they manage everything else. And there is a paid version is a specific area you use for the paid version for multiple purposes. But we're using everything is free here. Everything we use, the Linux operating system is free. It is on your computer, only one person can log in. Let me tell you what the server and the client. One person can log in. If another person try, it will log out. That's called the client. It means one person can log in. In the Linux operating system, right? 10,000 people can log in. Means everybody has their own profile. That's called the server-based operating system. Server-based operating system is used by the system engineer, DevOps engineer. The purpose of the use, they deploy your application. What application? Either Node.js based or Python based. After they're deploying, now the quality assurance need to test it either from the UI or they come to the operating system to verify different things. So see, these three people basically are using the Linux operating system directly or indirectly. But the 99.99 DevOps engineer, they live and breathe on the Linux. Basically, anything they do, remember, operating system is Linux. Basically, Linux distribution can be many flavor, but we use the Ubuntu. So this conversation should be more than enough for you. If you understand this, you don't need to go anywhere else to look anything else. What we do on the Linux, anything you do with the mouse, right? You do with the mouse on your computer, the same thing you can do on the Linux. Linux has a two. One is the GUI, graphical user interface. Another is a command line. But the Linux has been established for the command line because the GUI is always like the heavy. Heavy means it's like a lot of makeup basically. GUI is always for the client, like for the office management purposes. And the terminal is always, command line is always lightweight. It is for the big application deployment. Got it? So we are going to use the terminal today, but basically anything you do on the GUI, the same thing you can do from the terminal in a short period of time. So today's crash course will be essential for all of you because the command is very fundamental and essential. It is beneficial for all of you, and you have to know this basically. All right. So I have Ashik with me. As mentioned with you guys last week, he's a developer. He has the DevOps skills as well, and then plus the QA. So he will be actually running the keyboard and we'll be talking as we go. We'll be recording small things. And then, of course, after this, the crash course will be created and will be shared with you guys. You guys need to, of course, we have the content already for all of you, but you guys this content will be shared as well once everything is ready. Thank you, Ashik. We can start.